Hello, and welcome back to Sleeping Gift. Tonight, allow me to share a story to accompany you as you drift off to sleep. Before we go any further, take a slow and gentle breath. Let the calm air fill your chest, then slowly exhale. Release every burden you have been carrying. Let your imagination gently guide you into this story. Now, let's begin the story. Breathe in, breathe out, and let me take you away for a moment into a story. Slow walk through misty bamboo forest, calming sleep story for adults. Before we enter this story, take a deep breath in and exhale slowly. Now, it is time for us to step into this journey. You are lying peacefully in the stillness of night, your body resting gently against the softness of your bed, the quiet darkness wrapping around you like a warm, protective blanket. Half-closed eyes gaze softly into the gentle scene unfolding before you. A misty bamboo forest where tall stems rise high and sway with the most delicate rhythm. The air is cool and hushed, carrying the faintest whisper of soft wind that moves between the slender green stalks, brushing against them with tender care. Each stem stands graceful and tall, their leaves trembling ever so slightly as the mist curls slowly around their bases, softening every edge and line in the peaceful night. The forest feels endless and inviting, the tall bamboo stems creating long, quiet pathways that invite your calm awareness to drift along them without hurry. Soft wind whispers between them, a sound so faint it blends with the quiet rhythm of your own breathing, in and out, slow and steady. The mist hangs low and luminous, glowing faintly under the night sky, wrapping the lower parts of the stems in a gentle haze that makes everything feel distant yet deeply safe. You notice how the stems lean just a little with each passing breath of wind, their movements unhurried, like the slow sway of something ancient and kind, offering rest to anyone who simply watches. As you lie there, the stillness of night deepens around the scene, the tall bamboo forest stretching outward in every direction, its quiet presence filling the space with calm. The soft wind continues its gentle work, moving through the leaves with a hushed rustle that comes and goes like a lullaby barely heard. Mist drifts in lazy, flowing patterns, rising and falling around the bases of the stems, creating soft pools of silver gray that blur the ground into something dreamlike and serene. The tall stems stand so close together in places, yet never crowding, their graceful forms allowing just enough space for the wind to slip through and caress each one with the same tender touch. Everything feels balanced and peaceful, the night holding the bamboo forest in its quiet embrace. Your half-closed eyes follow the slow sway of a few stems nearby, how they tilt and return so gradually, almost as if breathing with you. The soft wind whispers again, a little softer now, carrying the clean, earthy scent of damp bamboo and fresh mist that settles lightly on your awareness. No rush, no need to move or understand, just this gentle observation of tall stems swaying in the misty night, the wind moving between them like a friend offering comfort. The atmosphere grows even more soothing as the minutes blend together, the forest remaining steady and unchanging in its quiet beauty. Tall bamboo stems continue their delicate dance, each one responding to the soft wind in its own slow, graceful way, leaves fluttering with the lightest tremble. Mist lingers and shifts in the gentlest currents, softening the view further, making the pathways between the stems feel wider and more inviting for your resting mind. The stillness of night wraps everything in layers of calm, allowing the scene to unfold without effort, simply there for you to witness with ease. You sense the peaceful rhythm deepening, the tall stems swaying just a fraction slower now, the soft wind whispering its quiet song between them with even more tenderness. The mist curls around the lower reaches, creating a soft veil that makes every detail feel wrapped in safety and rest. Lying peacefully, your body grows heavier against the bed, the scene before your half-closed eyes becoming a gentle companion in the night, full of quiet grace and endless calm. The bamboo forest holds its serene presence, the tall stems standing watch in their unhurried way, the soft wind continuing to move through them like a lullaby that never needs to end. Everything remains soft, slow, and deeply reassuring, inviting your awareness to rest here as long as it wishes, in this misty, whispering world of gentle night. You continue lying peacefully in the stillness of night, your body sinking a little deeper into the softness of the bed, half-closed eyes resting gently on the misty bamboo forest where the tall stems sway with the same unhurried grace. The soft wind whispers between them once more, a familiar and comforting sound that returns like a slow, steady breath, brushing lightly against the slender green stalks and causing their leaves to tremble ever so softly. The mist drifts in quiet, repeating patterns around the bases of the stems, curling and uncurling in gentle loops that soften every line and shadow in the peaceful scene. The tall bamboo stems stand in their graceful rows, each one leaning just a fraction with the returning whisper of wind, then settling back into stillness before the next soft breath arrives. This gentle rhythm repeats itself calmly, the stems swaying in small familiar arcs that match the quiet pace of your own breathing. The mist continues its slow, looping movements, rising in faint silvery wisps before settling again around the lower parts of the stems, creating the same hazy, dreamlike veil that invites deeper rest. Everything feels steady and repeating, like a lullaby that plays the same tender notes over and over without ever growing weary. As you observe with half-closed eyes, the soft wind returns again, whispering between the tall stems in the same hushed tone, moving through the leaves with a delicate rustle that fades almost as soon as it begins. The bamboo stems respond with their slow, familiar sway, tilting gently one after another in a quiet wave that travels through the forest without haste. The mist follows its own calm routine, drifting in soft currents that swirl lightly around the bases before drifting onward, repeating the same soothing pattern that blurs the ground into peaceful stillness. There is comfort in this repetition, in the way the scene unfolds in small, predictable movements that ask nothing of you. The tall stems continue their gentle dance with the wind, each sway a little more measured than the last, the leaves fluttering with the lightest touch before becoming still once more. The soft wind whispers again between them, carrying the faint, clean scent of damp earth and fresh bamboo that lingers softly in your awareness. Mist curls around the lower reaches in its familiar loops, softening the view and allowing the pathways between the stems to feel even wider and more inviting for your resting mind. The stillness of night holds everything in its quiet embrace, letting these small routines play out with tender care. Your breathing slows naturally as the scene repeats its peaceful rhythm, the tall bamboo stems swaying in their unhurried way, the soft wind moving between them like a gentle companion that never leaves. The mist drifts and settles in the same calm patterns, creating layer upon layer of softness that wraps the entire forest in safety. Half-closed eyes follow one stem after another as they lean and return, the movements so familiar now that they blend into a single, soothing flow. The bamboo forest remains steady in its quiet beauty, the tall stems responding to each returning whisper of wind with the same graceful tilt, their leaves trembling lightly before finding stillness again. Everything continues in this gentle, repeating cycle, the mist swirling softly around the bases, the soft wind whispering its familiar song between the stems, inviting your awareness to settle even more deeply into the peaceful night. Lying there, you feel the scene's calm routines becoming part of the quiet space around you, the tall stems swaying slowly, the mist drifting in its steady loops, the wind brushing through with tender repetition. No need to follow or understand, simply resting as the misty bamboo forest offers its gentle, unchanging presence, full of safety and deep, soothing calm. The soft wind whispers once more between the tall stems, the leaves fluttering in their familiar way, the mist curling quietly around the bases, everything repeating its peaceful rhythm as the night holds you safely in its stillness. You lie peacefully in the stillness of night, your body resting even more deeply into the softness of the bed, half-closed eyes, gently observing the misty bamboo forest where the tall stems sway with an increasingly measured grace. The soft wind whispers between them in long, flowing breaths, each one taking its time to move through the slender stalks, causing the leaves to tremble with delicate slowness that lingers in the air. The mist drifts with greater detail now, its silvery edges curling and unfolding around the bases of the stems in intricate, unhurried patterns that soften every contour and shadow with exquisite care. Each tall bamboo stem seems to lean into the wind with more attention, the movement so gradual that you can almost feel the subtle shift in its posture, the way it tilts ever so slightly before beginning its slow return to upright stillness. The leaves on every stem flutter one by one, each flutter lasting a heartbeat longer than before, revealing the fine texture of their surfaces as the soft wind caresses them. The mist rises in thin, luminous threads that twist and separate with meticulous gentleness, wrapping around the lower reaches of the stems before settling back into quiet pools of haze that blur the ground into a seamless, dreamlike expanse. The pathways between the tall stems appear wider in this slower light, the soft wind moving through them like a long, continuous sigh that carries the faint, earthy scent of damp bamboo and cool night air deeper into your awareness. One stem after another responds to the whisper, their graceful forms swaying in sequences that stretch out endlessly, each arc taking its full, peaceful time. The mist follows with even more intricate detail, its gentle currents creating soft veils that drift and reform, highlighting the quiet height of the stems against the darkened sky. Your half-closed eyes rest on these finer observations, watching how the leaves catch the faintest glimmers within the mist, how the tall stems hold their slow sway with such steady patience. The soft wind continues its elongated whisper between them, brushing through with a tenderness that makes every small movement feel amplified in its calm. The entire scene unfolds with heightened detail, yet remains utterly without effort, inviting your resting mind to simply witness each gentle layer as it reveals itself. The bamboo forest feels even more immersive now, the tall stems swaying with this deeper, more detailed rhythm, their leaves trembling in slow succession as the soft wind lingers on each one. Mist swirls in elaborate yet peaceful patterns around the bases, its luminous quality growing softer as it blends the boundaries between stem and ground, between forest and night. Everything moves with such meticulous slowness that time itself seems to stretch, allowing every subtle detail to settle into the quiet space of your awareness. Lying there, the scene becomes a companion of profound gentleness, the tall bamboo stems continuing their unhurried dance, the soft wind whispering its long, flowing song between them, the mist adding layer upon layer of intricate softness. No rush touches this moment, only the deepening observation of each slow movement, each delicate tremble, each curling thread of haze that wraps the peaceful forest in safety and calm. The stillness of night deepens around the tall stems, allowing their slow sways to become even more pronounced in their gentleness. The leaves fluttering with extended delicacy, the mist drifting in its detailed, luminous veils. The soft wind moves through the forest like a prolonged, caring breath, touching everything with the same tender attention, inviting your half-closed eyes to rest here as the scene continues its slow, beautiful unfolding. The misty bamboo forest holds its quiet grace, every detail emerging with patient clarity, the tall stems swaying, the wind whispering, the mist curling, all in rhythms that grow ever more soothing and detailed, cradling your peaceful awareness in the gentle night. You lie peacefully in the stillness of night, your body nestled even more softly into the bed, half-closed eyes resting with quiet ease on the misty bamboo forest. The tall stems sway with a gentle, unhurried grace, their movements now so slow they seem to melt into the surrounding calm. The soft wind whispers between them in long, flowing sighs, each breath carrying a tender hush that lingers in the air before fading into silence. The mist drifts in delicate, luminous layers around the bases of the stems, its soft veils rising and falling with the same measured patience, softening every line until the forest feels wrapped in a cocoon of quiet peace. The tall bamboo stems lean ever so gradually with each passing whisper of wind, their graceful forms tilting in slow arcs that stretch out like a long, soothing exhale. Leaves tremble with feather-light delicacy, each flutter unfolding over many heartbeats before settling back into stillness. The mist curls in gentle, repeating patterns, its silvery threads weaving and unwinding around the lower reaches of the stems, creating pools of soft haze that blur the ground into an endless, dreamlike stillness. Everything feels lighter now, the observations appearing and then gently fading without any pull, simply there for your resting awareness to notice and release. As you lie there, the scene offers these quiet glimpses. A single tall stem swaying just a fraction more slowly than its neighbors, its leaves catching the faintest shimmer within the mist before the soft wind whispers past and the moment softens away. Another stem stands almost perfectly still for a long, peaceful interval, then begins its slow tilt as the wind returns with tender care. The mist drifts in lazy, luminous currents, one veil rising to wrap around a cluster of stems before sinking back down, the details appearing softly and then dissolving into the greater calm. No strong feelings arise, only these light, fleeting observations that come and go like clouds passing across the distant sky. The pathways between the tall stems feel even wider and more inviting in this gentle light, the soft wind moving through them with elongated whispers that carry the clean, earthy scent of damp bamboo deeper into the quiet night. One by one, the stems respond with their slow, graceful sways, each movement fading naturally into the next without effort. The mist continues its soft work, its veils appearing and fading in the same unhurried rhythm, wrapping the forest in layers of luminous calm that invite your half-closed eyes to simply rest. Lying peacefully, you notice how the tall stems hold their positions for longer stretches now, their leaves fluttering only when the soft wind brushes through with particular tenderness. The mist swirls in faint, glowing patterns that emerge briefly before blending back into the haze, each detail light and transient. The stillness of night cradles the entire scene, allowing these gentle observations to appear like soft whispers and then dissolve, leaving behind only deeper relaxation. The bamboo forest remains a haven of quiet beauty, the tall stems swaying in their slow, fading rhythms, the soft wind whispering between them with ever gentler care, the mist drifting in luminous veils that come and go without demand. Your awareness floats lightly over these details, noticing them with half-closed eyes before they softly fade, each one bringing another layer of peace to the night. Everything continues in this light, effortless way, the tall bamboo stems leaning and returning with prolonged slowness, the leaves trembling delicately before stillness reclaims them, the mist weaving its gentle patterns that appear and dissolve into the surrounding calm. The soft wind moves through the forest like a prolonged, caring breath, touching the scene with tenderness and then retreating, allowing the peaceful stillness to deepen around you. The misty bamboo forest holds its serene presence, offering these quiet, fading observations to your resting mind, the slow sway of tall stems, the whisper of soft wind between them, the drifted veils of mist that soften everything into safety. No need to hold on to any of it. Simply lie in there as the gentle night cradles the scene and your awareness in its warm, soothing embrace. You lie peacefully in the stillness of night, your body resting deeply and comfortably in the softness of the bed, half-closed eyes gently fixed on the misty bamboo forest where everything unfolds with exquisite slowness. The tall stems sway in long, drawn-out arcs, their graceful movements now so measured that each tilt feels like a single extended breath shared with the quiet air. The soft wind whispers between them in faint, elongated sighs, barely audible yet deeply present, brushing through the leaves with the tenderness that makes every flutter last and linger before fading into silence. The mist drifts in soft, luminous layers around the bases of the stems, its gentle veils rising and falling with a rhythm of calm breathing, creating an even deeper sense of hush and safety. Here, in this peaceful space, the focus settles softly on silence and breathing. Your own breath moves in slow, steady waves, in and out, matching the almost imperceptible sway of the tall bamboo stems. The forest breathes with you, each tall stem holding its position for long, quiet moments before the softest whisper of wind encourages the next gentle tilt. The leaves tremble with the lightest possible motion, then return to complete stillness, allowing vast stretches of silence to fill the spaces between. The mist hangs in luminous stillness for many heartbeats, then drifts in one slow, continuous flow, its edges blending seamlessly into the night without sound or effort. The silence feels profound and comforting, wrapping around the tall stems like a protective veil. Between the soft whispers of wind, there is only this deep, restful quiet, broken only by the faint, natural rhythm of your breathing, the forest's own gentle pulse. One tall stem stands nearly motionless for a long while, its leaves perfectly still, while the mist pools quietly at its base in a soft, glowing haze. Then, after what feels like an eternity of calm, the soft wind returns as the gentlest sigh, encouraging the stem to lean ever so gradually, the leaves fluttering once with delicate slowness before everything settles back into silence once more. Breathing in, breathing out, the tall bamboo stems continue their almost imperceptible sways, each movement softer than the last, each pause filled with the kind of silence that invites deeper rest. The mist remains mostly still now, its luminous layers suspended in quiet suspension, only occasionally shifting in one slow, breath-like drift that curls around the lower parts of the stems and then dissolves into the surrounding calm. The soft wind whispers infrequently, each whisper shorter and fainter, allowing the silence to stretch wider and deeper between every gentle occurrence. Your half-closed eyes rest easily in this space of silence and breathing, noticing how the tall stems seem to breathe alongside you, their slow sways aligning with the natural rhythm of inhale and exhale. The leaves hold their stillness for longer intervals. The mist lingers in luminous quiet, and the soft wind only brushes through when the silence has grown rich and full. Everything feels synchronized in the gentlest way, the entire misty bamboo forest participating in this shared peaceful breathing that brings safety and profound relaxation. Lying there, the stillness becomes even more complete. The tall stems swaying with such subtle slowness that their movements blend into the quiet breathing of the night itself. The soft wind's whispers grow sparse and feather light, arriving like distant memories before fading away, while the mist holds its soft, glowing presence with almost no movement at all. Silence dominates now, vast and comforting, allowing each breath you take to carry you deeper into rest. The bamboo forest remains a sanctuary of quiet breathing and silence, the tall stems standing tall and graceful in their near motionless state, the leaves barely trembling, the mist suspended in luminous calm. The soft wind whispers, only rarely, each time with greater tenderness, reinforcing the deep, peaceful silence that wraps everything in safety. Your awareness floats gently on the rhythm of breath, in and out, surrounded by the misty bamboo forest and the profound stillness of night. Everything softens further into this harmonious breathing. The tall stems, the whispering wind, the drifting mist, and your own calm body, all aligned in the same slow, gentle pulse. The night holds you here, safe and deeply relaxed, as silence and breathing become the only gentle companions in this peaceful scene. You lie peacefully in the stillness of night, your body sinking even more deeply into the softness of the bed, half-closed eyes resting with complete ease on the misty bamboo forest. The tall stems sway with an almost imperceptible slowness, their graceful forms tilting in long, repeated arcs that feel like the same gentle movement returning again and again. The soft wind whispers between them in faint, recurring sighs, each whisper brushing through the leaves with the same delicate rustle that fades softly into the quiet. The mist drifts in its familiar, luminous patterns around the bases of the stems, curling and settling in the same slow loops that have become a soothing, repeating presence. The repetition feels deeply comforting now, the tall bamboo stems swaying in their steady, familiar rhythm, each one leaning just a fraction before returning, over and over, like a calm heartbeat. Leaves tremble with the same light flutter each time the soft wind passes, the motion so consistent and gentle that it blends into a single, unbroken flow. The mist continues its quiet repetition, rising in soft, silvery threads that twist and unwind around the lower reaches of the stems, then drifting onward in the same peaceful pattern, softening the ground into hazy stillness once more. These small, repeated details fill the scene with a steady, reassuring presence, inviting your awareness to settle completely. Again and again, the soft wind whispers between the tall stems, the sound returning like an old, gentle friend, moving through the leaves with the same tender touch. The stems respond with their familiar slow sway, each arc unfolding with identical grace, the repetition creating a rhythm that matches the quiet pulse of the night. The mist swirls in its recurring loops, one veil after another drifting around the bases, each curl as soft and luminous as the last, wrapping the forest in layer upon layer of the same calming haze. Everything feels anchored in this gentle repetition, the visual details and small sounds weaving together into a continuous, soothing tapestry. Your half-closed eyes follow these repeating elements with quiet contentment, noticing how the tall stems continue their slow, familiar dance with the wind, how the leaves flutter in the same delicate way each time, how the mist drifts and settles in its steady, luminous patterns. The soft wind whispers again, the same faint sigh returning between the stems, carrying the clean, earthy scent that lingers softly before fading. The repetition of these small sounds and visual details becomes dominant, filling the peaceful space with their calm consistency, allowing deeper relaxation to settle in. The bamboo forest holds its serene beauty through these repeating motions, the tall stems swaying in their unhurried familiar arcs, the leaves trembling lightly with each returning whisper of wind, the mist curling around the bases in the same soft glowing loops. Each repetition feels like a soft affirmation of safety, the scene remaining steady and unchanging in its gentle rhythm. No new elements appear, only the same peaceful details returning again and again, like a lullaby that plays its simple notes with endless tenderness. Lying there, the repetition grows even more present, the tall bamboo stems continuing their slow sways in the same graceful way, the soft wind whispering between them with the same faint, comforting sound, the mist drifting in its familiar, luminous patterns. The small sounds and visual details repeat with such quiet consistency that they become the only gentle focus, wrapping your awareness in their calm, steady presence. The misty bamboo forest remains immersed in this soothing repetition, the tall stems swaying, the wind whispering, the mist curling, each element returning in its own soft, familiar rhythm. The night cradles everything in this gentle cycle, the repeating details offering a profound sense of peace and safety as your half-closed eyes rest easily within the scene. Everything continues in this calm, repeating flow. The tall stems, the soft wind, and the mist moving together in their steady, gentle patterns, inviting your resting mind to drift softly along with them in the stillness of night. You lie peacefully in the stillness of night, your body resting so deeply and comfortably in the softness of the bed that every muscle feels heavy and relaxed, half-closed eyes gently observing the misty bamboo forest where only the smallest movements remain. The tall stems sway with an extremely slow, almost finished grace, their graceful forms tilting in faint, lingering arcs that take a very long time to complete before settling back into near stillness. The soft wind whispers between them, only occasionally now, each faint sigh arriving after long stretches of quiet, brushing through the leaves with the lightest possible touch before fading away completely. The mist drifts in very slow, minimal currents around the bases of the stems, its luminous veils shifting only slightly, mostly resting in soft, hazy pools that blur the ground into deep, peaceful stillness. The activities in the forest feel nearly finished, leaving only these small, delicate remnants of movement. One tall bamboo stem leans ever so gradually with the rare whisper of wind, its leaves trembling with the faintest flutter that lasts just a moment before everything becomes still once more. The mist curls in one slow, barely noticeable loop around the lower part of a cluster of stems, then settles back into its quiet suspension, its glowing edges softening further into the night. The soft wind returns after a long pause, offering the gentlest sigh between the tall stems, encouraging the smallest sway in a few nearby stalks before the quiet reclaims the space. These tiny, lingering movements feel like the final gentle echoes of the earlier rhythms, now slowing to their most minimal expression. Your half-closed eyes rest easily on these remaining small motions, watching as a single tall stem completes its very slow tilt and holds its position for an extended time, the leaves barely moving at all. The mist lingers mostly motionless, its soft veils holding their shape with only the occasional faint drift that barely disturbs the haze. The soft wind whispers infrequently, each whisper shorter and softer than before, touching the stems with tender care before retreating into silence. Everything feels as though the gentle activities are coming to their natural, unhurried close, leaving behind only these quiet, minimal traces that invite even deeper rest. Lying there, the misty bamboo forest offers this final stage of calm, the tall stems standing almost completely still now, their sways reduced to the slightest lean that happens only rarely. The leaves remain nearly motionless, fluttering only when the softest wind brushes past after long intervals of quiet. The mist rests heavily in its luminous pools around the bases, shifting with such minimal slowness that the change is almost imperceptible, creating an even softer veil over the entire scene. The small movements that remain feel soothing and reassuring, like the last few notes of a lullaby fading into silence. The tall bamboo stems continue their nearly finished dance with only the gentlest remnants of motion, each sway taking its full, peaceful time before stillness returns. The soft wind's whispers grow rarer and more delicate, arriving like distant, caring breaths that touch the leaves lightly and then dissolve. The mist holds its position with only occasional, very slow drifts that curl minimally around the lower reaches before settling again. These small, lingering activities create a profound sense of completion and safety, allowing your awareness to settle fully into the quiet night. The bamboo forest remains immersed in this gentle winding down, the tall stems swaying with the smallest possible movements, the wind whispering only now and then with feather-light tenderness, the mist drifting in its most minimal, luminous patterns. Everything feels as though the peaceful scene is preparing for even deeper stillness, the remaining small motions serving as soft reminders of the calm that has always been present. Your resting body and half-closed eyes find comfort in these final gentle traces. The tall stems, the soft wind, and the mist all moving toward their quietest state with the same tender care. The night holds the entire forest in its warm embrace. The activity's nearly finished. Only these small, delicate movements lingering like a final, soothing sigh before complete peace. The misty bamboo forest cradles this near stillness with profound gentleness. The tall stems almost motionless, the whispers infrequent, the mist mostly at rest, everything slowing to its softest, most minimal expression in the stillness of night. You lie peacefully in the stillness of night, your body fully heavy and relaxed in the softness of the bed, half-closed eyes resting with the gentlest awareness on the misty bamboo forest. The tall stems sway with only the faintest traces of movement now, their graceful forms holding almost perfect stillness for long, unbroken stretches before the softest possible lean appears and slowly dissolves back into calm. The soft wind whispers between them only rarely, each faint sigh arriving after extended quiet, brushing through the leaves with such delicate lightness that the sound is barely more than a breath before it fades completely. The mist drifts in very minimal, luminous layers around the bases of the stems, its soft veils shifting with extreme slowness, mostly suspended in hazy pools that soften every edge into deeper, dreamlike peace. The light within the scene has begun to dim, ever so gently, the faint, silvery glow of the mist growing softer and more subdued, while the sounds grow quieter still. The tall bamboo stems stand tall and nearly motionless, their occasional sway now so subtle it blends seamlessly into the surrounding stillness. The leaves remain almost completely still, offering only the rarest tremble when the soft wind finally returns after a long pause. The mist lingers in its quiet suspension, its luminous quality softening further, the gentle currents slowing until they become almost imperceptible drifts that barely disturb the hazy veil. Everything feels as though the gentle light and sounds are quietly dimming, allowing the atmosphere to grow even more hushed and serene. Your half-closed eyes notice this gradual quieting with effortless ease, watching as the faint glow around the mist fades just a little more, wrapping the tall stems in softer shadows. A single tall stem leans with the slowest possible motion, then holds its position for what feels like an eternity of calm before any further shift occurs. The soft wind whispers once again after a vast stretch of silence, the sound so faint and brief that it merges immediately into the deepening quiet. The mist continues its minimal movement, its edges blurring more gently into the night, the entire forest growing quieter with each passing moment. Lying there, the atmosphere deepens into this softer, dimmer state, the light within the misty bamboo forest receding with tender care, the sounds reducing to the barest whispers. The tall stems remain almost entirely still, their graceful presence now defined more by quiet endurance than motion. The leaves hold their stillness with complete patience, the soft wind arriving only as the gentlest reminder before retreating. The mist rests heavily in its softened, luminous haze, its drifts so slow and faint that they seem to melt into the dimming night, creating an even greater sense of safety and rest. The bamboo forest embraces this quiet dimming, the tall stems standing watch in near perfect stillness, the soft wind whispering with increasing rarity and softness, the mist glowing more subdued as its movements slow to the most minimal expression. The light and sounds continue their gentle descent, the entire scene growing quieter and more peaceful with every slow breath of the night. Your awareness floats lightly in this softening atmosphere, the half-closed eyes resting on the tall stems that sway only faintly, The wind that barely touches the leaves, the mist that lingers in its dimmed, hazy pools. Everything feels wrapped in layers of deepening calm, the dimming light and fading sounds inviting your body and mind to release even further into the bed's comforting hold. The misty bamboo forest remains a haven of gentle quiet, the tall stems nearly motionless, the whispers of wind growing fainter, the mist softening further into the night. The atmosphere grows quieter still, the light dimming with tender patience, allowing the stillness to expand and cradle you in profound safety. As the night continues its soft descent, the tall stems, the soft wind, and the mist all participate in this gradual quieting, their presence becoming ever more subdued and peaceful, surrounding your resting form with the warmest, most soothing embrace of calm. You lie peacefully in the stillness of night, your body resting so completely and heavily in the softness of the bed that every breath feels slow and effortless. Half-closed eyes holding only the gentlest awareness on the misty bamboo forest. The tall stems stand almost entirely motionless now, their graceful forms barely swaying with the faintest possible tilt that appears only after long, unbroken intervals of perfect stillness. The soft wind whispers between them with extreme rarity, each faint sigh arriving like the softest echo after vast stretches of silence, brushing through the leaves with such delicate lightness that it dissolves almost before it begins. The mist rests in soft, subdued layers around the bases of the stems, its luminous veils shifting with the slowest, most minimal drifts imaginable, mostly suspended in hazy, glowing pools that soften every contour into profound, dreamlike calm. Almost no activity remains in the scene, only this gentle awareness of the space itself. The tall bamboo stems hold their tall, quiet presence with near complete stillness, offering just the occasional, barely noticeable lean that melts back into immobility after many heartbeats. The leaves remain perfectly still for extended periods, showing only the rarest tremble when the softest whisper of wind finally touches them. The mist lingers heavily in its softened haze, its movements reduced to the most subtle shifts that barely disturb the luminous layers, creating an even deeper veil of peace that wraps the entire forest. Everything feels suspended in this near stillness, the space itself becoming the only gentle focus, inviting your awareness to rest without effort or thought. Your half-closed eyes rest easily within this quiet space, simply aware of the tall stems standing so calmly, their graceful height barely disturbed by any motion at all. The soft wind arrives only once in a great while, its whispers so faint and brief that it merges immediately into the surrounding silence, leaving the leaves untouched for long stretches. The mist holds its position with profound gentleness, its soft glow dimmed and steady, the occasional minimal drift around the lower reaches feeling like the last, tender trace of movement before complete quiet takes over. There is only this gentle awareness of the peaceful space, the misty bamboo forest existing in its simplest, most restful form. Lying there, the forest offers nothing more than this soft, minimal presence, the tall stems nearly motionless in their quiet watch, the wind reduced to the rarest breath, the mist resting in luminous, hazy stillness. The pathways between the stems feel wide and endless in their calm, the night air cool and still, carrying only the faintest earthy scent that lingers without demand. Almost no activity stirs the scene. allowing your awareness to float lightly, simply noticing the space with half-closed eyes before releasing into deeper relaxation. The bamboo forest remains immersed in this near-complete stillness, the tall stems standing tall and graceful, with only the smallest remnants of sway. The soft wind whispering with such infrequency that silence dominates. The mist suspended in its soft, glowing pools, with barely any drift at all. The gentle awareness of the space fills everything with safety. The quiet night holding the entire scene in its warm, protective embrace. Your resting body and half-closed eyes find profound comfort here, aware only of the tall stems in their near-motionless state, the rare whisper of wind, the mist resting so quietly around their bases. The space itself feels like a soft, endless sanctuary, free of any need for movement or observation, simply present for you to rest within. The misty bamboo forest cradles this almost complete quiet, the tall stems barely moving, the wind silent for long periods, the mist holding its subdued, luminous calm with the gentlest possible awareness. Everything is softened to its most minimal expression, leaving only the peaceful space and your gentle presence within it, safe and deeply relaxed in the stillness of night. The night continues its tender hold, the bamboo forest existing in this final stage of gentle awareness, the tall stems, the faint wind, and the resting mist all contributing to a profound sense of peace, where almost nothing stirs. Only the quiet space itself remaining as a soft companion for your drifting mind. You lie peacefully in the stillness of night, your body completely heavy and relaxed in the softness of the bed, half-closed eyes resting with the softest, most distant awareness on the misty bamboo forest. The tall stems stand in perfect, motionless grace, their slender forms barely showing even the faintest trace of sway, holding their quiet height like gentle guardians wrapped in endless calm. The soft wind has become the rarest memory, its whispers now so distant and faint that they dissolve into the vast silence before they can truly arrive, leaving only the quietest hush between the tall stems. The mist rests in its final luminous stillness around the bases of the stems, its soft veils suspended without any drift at all, creating a gentle, glowing haze that softly blurs everything into one seamless, dreamlike peace. The entire scene feels as though it is gently dissolving in the tall bamboo stems, fading slowly into the background of your awareness, their graceful presence becoming softer and more distant with each slow breath you take. The leaves remain utterly still, no longer trembling even in memory, simply part of the quiet space that surrounds you. The mist holds its subdued glow with such tenderness that it seems to melt gradually into the night, its luminous edges softening further until they blend with the darkness in the gentlest possible way. Everything is slowing to its final, most peaceful expression, inviting your awareness to release with the same unhurried care. Lying there, the misty bamboo forest becomes less a place to observe and more a soft, fading presence, the tall stems standing as quiet silhouettes that gently recede. The soft wind now completely silent, the mist resting in its hazy calm like a final, comforting veil. Your half-closed eyes hold this gentle awareness for a little longer, noticing how the tall stems seem to dissolve slowly into the night's embrace, how the space itself grows wider and softer, how the stillness deepens into something even more profound and safe. No thoughts remain, only this quiet dissolving, like a gentle thought slowly melting away. The bamboo forest continues its tender fade, the tall stems becoming ever more still and distant, their graceful forms blending into the surrounding quiet until they feel like part of the peaceful darkness itself. The mist lingers in its softest, most luminous suspension, its glow dimming with infinite gentleness until it too seems to drift away into sleep. The soft wind has long since become pure silence, leaving only the vast, comforting hush of night that wraps everything in warmth and safety. Your breathing slows even further in and out, each breath carrying you deeper as the scene gently dissolves around your resting awareness. Everything softens now into this final whisper of peace. The tall stems fading completely into calm, the mist blending into the night's gentle darkness, the space itself becoming a soft, endless stillness that holds you safely. Your half-closed eyes grow heavier, the gentle awareness of the misty bamboo forest slowly releasing, dissolving like the last traces of a beautiful dream that no longer needs to be held. The night cradles you here, warm and protective, as the peaceful scene melts away with the utmost tenderness. Lying peacefully, you feel the final gentle release, the tall stems, the soft wind, and the mist all becoming part of the quiet darkness, their presence fading into the deepest calm. The stillness of night surrounds you completely now, safe and loving, inviting every part of you to let go and drift. The gentle awareness that remained has become lighter and lighter, dissolving slowly, softly, until only rest remains. The misty bamboo forest has become a distant, beautiful memory, its tall stems, whispering wind, and luminous mist all gently fading away into the warm, protective silence. Your body rests fully, your breathing deep and even, as the entire peaceful scene dissolves like the softest sigh, leaving only safety, warmth, and the quiet invitation to sleep. Sleep comes now, gentle and natural, as the last traces of the misty bamboo forest melt away into the night, carrying you deeper into restful, healing slumber. The stillness holds you safely, the gentle night whispering its final, tender good night as everything softly, slowly, peacefully fades. Where are you drifting over tonight? Let the weightlessness take over your body. If this story helped you find peace, please consider subscribing for more nightly journeys. Sleep well, traveler.